Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Yeah, rock and roll. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Got started a little bit late. Sorry, folks.
We were talking about Vikings.
We were talking about Vikings. Got all off into it. So.
Got all off into it. I'm so proud of you, Philip.
I have to watch it while stuff's working on the laser, while it's cutting. I can watch a few minutes of it.
Dude.
Pause it, get up, do whatever.
Okay, so they have not left yet, though, right?
They have not left.
Okay.
Yeah, they have not left.
So the next 2 episodes, you're going into episode 3.
Yeah, episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, I haven't done 2 yet.
Okay.
Of part 2 of season 4.
You're up, bro.
All right.
The rest of this season is gonna just blow you out of the water.
Oh man.
Because now you're emotionally you
I'm
get
attached,
you get the personalities, you know who they are, you get what they represent. Lagatha.
Gross. Okay. All right, let's do this.
Dude, you would.
No, I would. I'm talking about you licking your lips in the camera.
Oh, it was Lagatha.
All right, here we go.
U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Journey into the matrix of the mind. Stretch your imagination and challenge reality. Abnormal realities are beacons for the imagination. What society deems abnormal may be more real than we think. This is Abnormal Realities with your hosts, Ron Phillips and Rocky Stucci.
Really, Ron? Is that what we're going to do right now?
I was just checking on you,
right,
dude.
bro, I'm all right.
All right.
You okay?
Hacking up a lung.
I was clearing my throat.
All right.
What's up, folks? What's going on? Yeah, we're a little rusty. I get excited. Ron, I do. I get excited, brother. When I didn't know for sure if you were going to take the Vikings. You got to have.
Once you're into it though, after you get past season 1,
That's what I tell people.
oh man, it's freaking greatness.
Yeah, you either connect with it or you don't.
The thing about it is you never really know who's about to die because
Ever.
boom, they're gone,
They go.
and nobody gives a damn.
They don't give a shit. A couple people they did.
Yeah.
And they ate a lot of mushrooms.
They did.
We should do mushrooms on the show once.
No.
Dude, that would be the ultimate train wreck.
We wouldn't even be able to do a show. We'd be sitting here going, look at the lights.
We would have to do it. Yeah. We'd just be like this, just staring.
Yep.
No, it's one of those things. Like some people. Okay, we were talking about. I was talking with a friend of mine at work today. We were talking about the movie Titanic, and she's into those kind of movies. The Notebooks.
chick flick.
Yeah. Dude, don't I?
Hey, I know. Me too. I like them.
Did you see the Notebook?
I saw the Notebook.
Did you cry?
Cried like a baby.
If you don't cry when you watch the Notebook, we cannot be friends.
No, it was the Notebook. Hell, even Titanic. Knowing how the damn movie was going to end, it was
You're like, I know that the ship's going to sink, but
that was the very first 3-hour movie I ever went to.
So here's my question though. All that when he did that portrait.
Oh yeah. Draw me like one of your French girls.
Dude, you should let me draw you on a couch like that.
No. My boobs are bigger than hers.
I'll make them look real good. I'll give you big nipples. No, okay, here's my question. Let's start out with a question.
Okay.
In the movie Titanic,
Captain Phillips was good too.
That was a good
Yeah,
movie. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
When they were floating after the ship sunk and they were floating and DiCaprio was in the water and then she took a nap, she's just tired. She needed to catch a nap real quick. And then she came back and the boats were coming.
He was frozen solid.
He was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were the one on that board and Misty was one in the water, could you push her off and let her sink to the bottom of the ocean?
What else is there to do?
What the hell? Dude?
No, what else is there to do?
You didn't even think about it. That's what's kind of freaking me out. You're just like, yeah, what?
No, I didn't. I just said, what else? What would you do?
I don't know. I don't know if I could do
I
that
think
to Lisa. I would rather die
everybody
with
says-
her. I would
everybody's-
die with her. I would rather that.
Okay, I'm with you. I can do that.
Oh, a little late for that. Dude.
Yeah, I know, but look, everybody said he could have gotten on the door with her, but apparently
No,
MythBusters debunked that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
There was not even-
She
yeah.
barely floated alone. Was it a
Right.
door?
It was a door of some sort. Yeah.
It was a pretty strong door to keep a human body on there afloat.
Well, all it had to do was just be.
I don't
brilliant.
know. You know, I get in those deep thoughts. I'm like, okay, if that was Lisa, first off, it wouldn't be Lisa. I would be the one. I asked Lisa if she could do it to me, and she pulled the Philip. She's like, well, of course. So just you're gone. I'm like, that's messed up. And then that bothers me for like 3 days, and then I have bad dreams.
Okay.
So you could do it.
Yeah,
you could.
I don't know if I could.
Misty, if you're listening, Ron will kill you.
That is not would be Leonardo Popsicle. Yeah, that's what he was.
That movie, Blood Diamonds, that he was in, I actually thought,
I didn't see Blood Diamonds.
oh, it's based off of real events. So it just happened to be in the time where I was researching Africa and diamonds and the diamond trade and blood diamonds. And, you know, I don't want to get too much into it because it'll bring us down a trail. But, you know, we talk about it. As a matter of fact, the same lady I was talking to today, where I was talking about some of the Egyptian friends that I have, and they don't understand the way we live.
Right.
You know, they're not westernized, right? They live off essentials. They don't have drawers and closets full of clothes. A lot, you know, there are modern Egyptians, there's modern Muslims, there's modern Africans, but a lot of them are still very tribal in their ways, right? And you look at the way they live their life, and it's not like us, and they can get away with a lot more things over there that are more darker and sinister, right? So like the blood diamonds.
Right.
They literally go to these villages and they capture the dudes. They rape the sisters of these children. They have the dudes kill their parents, and then they take the dudes and then they turn them into slaves or militants, and then make them go into these riverways and streamways and mine diamonds until they starve to death. They die from exhaustion. They get killed.
No kidding.
And that goes on to this very day. So a lot of what we're wearing on our fingers, and then it shows how it goes over to England, and then how they kind of hide those diamonds in with the rest of the diamonds, and then they put them in these vaults, and they sit on them, and they control the market of the diamonds. It's real life stuff, right? It's very abnormal, but in the normal world, that's okay.
What's the name of the movie?
Blood Diamonds.
Leo DiCaprio.
Leonardo.
He
probably goes by Leo for short.
Of course he goes by Leo for
Oh, dude, look who decided to show up and be a friend.
Audrey. Was it Audrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she wasn't going to be here all week.
Well, we're glad she is.
Yeah, we are.
What up, Audrey?
She's probably at work watching us on her phone
Dude, could you work at Disney?
in a heartbeat.
I think I could too.
Yeah, in
I
a
may even
heartbeat.
go in that truck wars ship.
Although I hear as an employee, it's not necessarily the happiest place on earth.
Dude, I think it's a very miserable place.
It probably is.
There's probably a lot of sex trafficking going on there.
I just want to walk the underground tunnels.
Do you think it's haunted?
No.
You don't?
No. Why would it be?
Oh, Audrey! I
I
think Audrey actually said there are some exhibits out there
Yeah.
that are older ones that actually do have a little bit of bumpy. Well, Ghost Adventures, it wasn't Disney. It was another park.
Yeah.
And
That they went and
I think-
investigated.
like the Renaissance during the day, super gorgeous, super beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
You could really take it in. But
But at night, it's
it
freaking weird,
changes,
dude. Oh, yeah. There's no question
So
about that.
think about like you think about like I want to say Valley Fair, but think about a Disney.
Yeah.
If everybody was gone, all the lights were off, and you were just walking around the park, I think it would have a little kind of a creepy little thing to it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. For me, probably more like Epcot Center and, all the little countries around the big lake. Those would be creepy to
I'll
me.
tell you why I want to go to like a Disney. I don't know the difference between land and world. I don't even know what
Disneyland is in California. Disney World is in Florida.
So is world bigger?
World is bigger.
Of course.
Mhm. This has more acreage.
I like the thing. Well, like you can go to the Harry Potter town,
That's in Florida.
and it looks like you're really there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been to Diagon Alley.
Do what?
And Hogwarts. So
Oh.
Diagon Alley is, I think, in Universal. Hogwarts is over in the other park. I could have them backwards, but they have the Hogwarts Express train that goes back and
yeah.
forth between them.
Yep.
That train, if you've never ridden it, you got to ride that train because it's really cool effects. Because the windows look like windows when you climb in,
Yeah.
but then you realize that's a TV. So when you're traveling in the train
It
from
looks like
point A to
you're
point
really-
B, they've got stuff happening in the windows. The glass to the cabin you're in is frosted. And of course, the cabin looks like the cabins in the movie
Yeah.
on the train.
Yep.
And the glass is frosted.
Dude,
and
that's so cool.
They have figured out how to run video in those frosted frames of that glass. So it looks like people walking by, and then all the kids stop and have a conversation right outside your. It's just crazy.
So it stretches the limits of your imagination.
Love it.
Have you ever been on this ride called the Mystery Mind Ride?
The Mystery Mind Ride. No, is it in Disney?
I never know. No,
Okay.
see, I'm sorry. I'm not a party pooper or nothing, but I'm not going to pay $1,000 just to go walk around a park and spend $55 for a freaking hot dog. I'm
It's not
cheap.
$55, but guess what I'm doing for the last 2 weeks
Yeah,
right before
dude,
Christmas?
and how much do you spend a
It's
ride?
actually for a full week,
Mm-hmm.
the week before Christmas, because we come home on Christmas Day.
I wasn't invited.
We'll be at Disney World, Epcot Center, Universal Studios, all of that stuff.
About $7,000, $8,000 trip.
For
$10,000.
the four of us, yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
Right at 7. I think.
So there's this one ride, and this is trippy, right? This has to do with the brain and how the brain can be fooled and manipulated. We talk about, what do they call those? Not holograms, but those things they do in the sky that make it look real. They're starting to do it now where it looks like you're watching like fish jumping out of the ground and
lasers or
yeah, it's all that kind of technology. But the Mystery Mind Ride is this, and I went to it when I was at the Mall of America. And you sit in this chair, the whole room goes totally dark. You got to hold on to these two handles. And the first thing that they tell you is that if
is it in a theater?
It's a theater style. It
But
looks
it's
like a theater.
So that's the 4D aspect of it.
okay.
Yeah, because the theater moves and
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
so they say if you feel like you're gonna get sick, close your eyes. I'm like, well, what the hell is this, right? And all of a sudden the chair it goes, and the chairs go up. So you're watching this screen, and the one I was watching was
there's
a
a lot of
motorcycle
rides like
chase.
that at Disney. By the
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And that's what I
And
do like
Universal,
about it.
yeah.
So you're watching this video of a motorcycle chase, and these chairs are moving perfectly with the little turns and cuts of and you literally feel like you are there. And the last part of it, it goes on this jump, and it goes into the water, and you find yourself like you're really.
Mm-hmm.
That is true manipulation of the mind.
Yeah.
Because when
Yeah.
I closed my eyes, I was just doing this.
Yeah. But when you open,
I'm in there.
does it have the 180-degree screen? So even in your peripheral, you're seeing that kind of stuff.
Dude, it was
Those
wild.
things like that kind of freak me out a little bit because I get motion sick, or not as bad as I used to, but you're right. You got to close your eyes because then it's just the chair moving.
I think I'd rather just go to the zoo.
You know, we had a theater here in Burleson that used to have what are called D-box chairs,
Oh.
and they were motion chairs, and you could watch the movie. The movie would come out, and it would have vibrations and movements.
Yeah.
I watched what's the space movie with
No.
Matthew McConaughey in it?
Don't have no idea. Matthew McConaughey, space.
I
movie.
watched that in
Mhm.
D-box, and it was pretty cool. So
Yeah, I'm a zoo guy. I was at the zoo one time, and I actually saw this big silverback poop in his hand, and he ate it like an apple. And dude, honestly, I am so serious right now.
are you?
That was the best entertainment, dude, that I've ever seen in my life. And he just tore it up, and he was good.
How
then
did
he
we
took a
get
nap.
on gorilla poop?
Entertainment?
Okay,
It was entertainment,
I better not see a gorilla eat poop.
dude. It was awesome.
All right.
Would you?
November 1909.
Would you?
Rocky. Would I eat poop?
Yes.
No. Give me
How
a
much?
number.
How much?
No, you give me a number.
Okay. All right. 20,000 spoonful. Still warm. Very important. It's still warm. 20,000. Cash on the table right now. All hundreds.
Yes.
Okay.
Cash is cash, dude.
Oh my
Cash
God.
is cash, and what the IRS doesn't know won't hurt them. November 1909, the Cherry Mine disaster. Now,
Yeah.
are you familiar with this area?
What area is it?
St. Paul.
Minnesota?
I think so.
No.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not. It's in the town of Cherry, Illinois, on the St. Paul Railroad.
Yes.
I got confused. I'm sorry. So the little town of Cherry, Illinois was founded in April of 1905, named after James Cherry, the superintendent of the St. Paul coal mines. The mining town was built to house about 2,500 residents. Here, coal was mined to stoke the railroad engines of the Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul Railroad. So this story goes, and I think Rocky put this in the folder for us, but the story goes is that there were 1,500 tons mined daily and 300,000 tons annually out of this mine.
That's a lot.
The mine consisted of 3 levels, or what they call veins. The first was 165 feet below the ground. Second was 315 feet. And the third was 500 feet below ground.
What do they call those?
Veins. Electrical lighting was used instead of the old-fashioned torches. Pine timbers stabilized the mine against falling rocks. Hoses provided constant running water that helped eliminate the dust. All of those things I just read to you come into play here in just a second. This was considered one of the safest mines in operation. That was until the day of November 13th, 1909, when one of the worst mining disasters in U.S. history occurred. On that Saturday morning, 481 miners entered the mine, but 295 men and boys never came out.
And boys. Very important.
Boys, yeah.
Yep.
John Davies, age 16, had been hired only 2 days earlier. There had been a problem with the electrical system. Water had caused it to short circuit. Ironically, the new parts were to arrive that day. In the meantime, the dark tunnels were illuminated by kerosene torches that were attached to the mine's supporting beams. At around 12:30 p.m., 6 bales of hay, see, hay and kerosene torches just don't go together.
No.
6 bales of hay were to be loaded onto a cart and sent down for the 40 mules that were working underground at the 3rd level. Alex R. Rosenjack, it looks like, Rosenjack, took the torch from his hat and hung it on a peg. The oil from the lamp fell on the car carrying the hay and set it on fire. He tried to extinguish the fire with buckets of water.
Yep.
However, it was not working. They decided to send it down to the 3rd vein where they could drench it with a hose. Now, this is where a comedy of errors, so to speak, occurred.
And mind you, didn't have no PPE. You
None.
said they had kerosene that they're using for a flame on their head.
Yep. Says the cager, which is the cart, went down and the cager went down and instructed the men to get a hose ready. While trying to put the car on the cage, somebody accidentally opened the trap door between the rails and jammed the wheels.
Oops.
They tried to release it, but soon the car became too hot to handle. The flames rose up and spread to the overhead pine timbers. The middle level rapidly turned into a blazing furnace. A mule feeder down below grabbed a hose and tried to connect it to a pipe, but the fittings were different sizes.
No.
The men were forced to put a larger hose over the pipe and hold on. However, no water came out. As women and children stood waiting, a team of 12 rescuers attempted to save as many miners as possible. 6 times they made trips below and successfully helped men to safety. On the 7th trip, when the cage was brought up, everyone was horrified to see the entire cage was on fire and the heroes dead. So the National Guard arrived by train. A woman huddled with their children as they waited far into the night, but by then it had become more of a recovery. Soon it was determined that, quote, black damp, a poisonous gas that burns in an area lacking sufficient oxygen, was present in high levels. Temperatures exceeded 110 degrees. It was no longer safe to enter the mine. Sadly, at 8 p.m. on November the 2nd, both mine shafts were sealed. It wasn't until February the 1st of 1910 that the temperature stabilized at 66 degrees. Recovery took 6 months. There were 600 widows and orphans. 259 men perished. The last sentence says it all. It is said that the spirits of the mine still wander restlessly around the abandoned mine, desperate to trying to escape. So let me show you a couple of pictures I pulled. So I guess this was down in the mine because there's some of the mules and the miners.
See
there,
their face, Ron? See how dirty their face is?
Dirty all the time,
That's
dude.
what
And they
their
were
lungs
breathing.
look like.
Yeah, they were breathing that shit.
Yep.
That's the thing about miners, man. I don't know. I mean, I guess today's miners can probably have enough personal protection gear, but how do you work in all that crap?
You got to be a different breed of human being. I'm not even lying.
So this is the monument that is now erected there to the memory of the fallen 259. And I guess this, I'm not sure what this was. Maybe one of the mine shafts.
No what? No low what?
It says
No Loca.
No, that's a number 2, is it not?
Oh yeah, number 2 loc.
Yeah, number 2 local union. Oh,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh, number 2 local union. Okay.
that's who was in the.
So now, you talk about the impact of that death. And suffocation and asphyxiation, horrible ways to die because you suffer for, it may not be more than a minute or two, but you're still suffocating, right? And
Correct.
there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do. So you just wait to die. So it's a tragic death. So whether there's intelligent hauntings there sure as hell. And those mines, there's still caves, even though they may have it all sealed off, there's still passageways underground where they're at. Mines scare me. Caves scare me. I'm not claustrophobic.
Have you ever gone into the underground caves here in
No.
well, Texas has them. Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico is some.
No, I'll do that.
Yeah, I've done that many times.
Yep.
Gone down into those caves and it's just damp and
Yep.
it's cool down in there, but it's damp. But I always worry about, am I down there on the seriously off chance that some earthquake's going to happen and
Right.
it all cave in on you?
There was this one, I actually told you about that when we were up north. You have the Wabasha Street caves, and then you have the caves along the Mississippi River there.
Yeah.
there-
Where we stood there and looked down.
We were
toward-
actually standing on top, and
Yeah.
then across the river, down a little bit in West St. Paul, there's more caves, and those are the caves I went. Then you had the Schmidt Brewery caves, you had the Hasty, Minnesota, and that's where they moved
But
up the
didn't they
liquor.
block them off?
They try to,
specifically? Yeah.
and then people still find ways to get in. But when we were in there, when I was back when I first moved back to Minnesota, I was in those caves, and they're very tall because they used to, the breweries used to store the beer in those caves because it's the same temperature year round. But when we were in there, there was somebody carved out. You go up this little, it's about 3 feet, maybe 4 feet, a little tunnel, and you go up and this little turn, and there's a little room up there, and they called it Stairway to Heaven. Now, you notice the lack of oxygen when you go in these little offshoot chambers. But it was a couple weeks after that there were some people that went in there and they lit a fire,
Burned up all the oxygen.
took all the oxygen out of the air, and they didn't even know they died. But now when we talk about Gettysburg, or we talk about these major sites of impact where bad things or tragic things have happened, or people tragically die, that energy alone, that imprinted, whether it be intelligent or not, that imprinted energy is still stuck there, and it's stuck in the caves. So the energy cannot absorb.
Makes me wonder if these miners that are still restless down there, their spirits still think they're mining.
Could be.
You know, what
Without
I'm
a
saying?
doubt. Absolutely. Okay, so now this is where I push the buttons. Okay, this is where I run into conflict of a spiritual beliefs.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure a lot of these miners were good, honorable Christian men. Back in the early 1900s, Christianity was a way of life, right? It is now to a lot of people, but back then and earlier on, it was very strict and at times very radical, So these miners tragically die against their will. They were working and they died. It was tragic. But why would they be stuck if they lived the word of God? Why would God keep them trapped in a location just because they died there tragically if they truly lived in his word? Why wouldn't they just say, sorry, man, it was tragic. It was before your time, but you did well in life. Please come along, son. That's where I run into conflict. I'm not challenging anybody.
And I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, the other thing I wondered is how many of the 259 that were killed
Yeah. That's a lot of people.
were heroes in pushing the others
Yeah.
up first. You
And
know what I'm saying?
That mentality actually was a thing back then. Like I said, those miners, dude,
They were manly men. There's
men.
no question.
They
Yeah.
were the definition of a man. Now, do you ever hear the term, well, I'm asking them, we're in Texas. The term redneck.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that. Yeah.
So, do you ever hear the mining revolution?
No.
These corporations, and they shut up Tent City because the miners were rebelling, because the miners were being forced to take their little children down to the mines. There was a big rebellion.
Why were they being?
That was the
forced?
creation of unions. That's when unions were
Yeah,
created.
but why were they being forced to take?
And they
their
weren't
kids?
getting paid real money. That was just the way it was. And they weren't getting paid real money. They were getting paid the company money. Then they had to buy everything at the company store.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they rebelled. They actually, some of these states actually called their National Guard in to kill American citizens, and they did, because they refused to go down in the mines because of the working conditions, because of the long hours, and they really were not getting paid. They were getting company coins. So these men revolted, And back then, some of the National Guard didn't have uniforms. So what they did is they put a red bandana around their neck.
Mm.
And that's where the term redneck came from. That's how they identified that we are the miners. And that's how it started.
Yeah, the term redneck here in Texas is just a hillbilly kind of thing. But, you know, you've got your rednecks and the other, I mean, the important thing to me is, did the company back in 1909 take care of the widows and
Doubt
the
it.
children?
I doubt
and
it.
the orphans.
They probably went bankrupt because of this.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what's funny about the redneck thing? We got a minute, so I just want to throw this out. Up in Minnesota, some of those yuppers up there, they PDA doing, you know, they always kind of ridicule the Southern way, the redneck way. The more I learn since I've been down here, it's like I almost want to challenge them to come on down here and talk that redneck shit they talk about
No,
to some of these rednecks down here because they eat your face.
no, it's not an eat your face thing. It's a pride thing. It really is. I mean, you can call us a redneck. Yeah, we're excited about it and happy about being called that,
Dude,
whatever the case may be. But you know, it's just one of those things that we
Am I a
grow up
redneck?
being that.
I
I
don't
don't think you haven't been here long enough to be a redneck.
I'm a,
Roughneck. We have roughnecks that work on the oil rigs.
that ain't me either. Folks, hey, check it out. Ron Phillips, take us home.
We ain't going home yet, dude.
Whatever.
This is just a break. Get out to abnormalrealities.com/shop. Get your abnormal PD ornament. We'll see you in 2 minutes. At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and we'd be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Abnormal realities.
So December 12th, kids. December 12th.
Time's closing in, folks.
It's on. So Brad Staggs, he did agree today that he will be doing the challenges. Now, two of us have confirmed the challenges.
That's probably all it's going to confirm.
That's BS.
Beth said, I am not even going upstairs. Did you read that article? I'm not even going
Oh,
upstairs.
yeah, she is going upstairs.
Brad's
now.
like, set me in the attic, man. I just want something to happen. Ballsy Brad. I said, you read the article where professional investigators and ghost hunters won't even go back in that house because it's so freaky, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't care. Just show me something.
Oh.
This is going to be fun.
Tell Beth, if you're listening,
She's not going
you are
upstairs.
going upstairs. I will rescue. I know CPR. Do not worry. But you're going upstairs because Rod's doing it too.
No, he's not.
Abnormal realities
And we're going to have it
I'm pretty
live.
sure I know him well enough to know he's not doing it.
with Ron and Rocky. 8 p.m. Eastern, Mojo 50.
Will you please do it for the fans? You don't love them.
Welcome back to Abnormal Realities, folks. I'm Ron Phillips. That's Rocky Stucci.
I am Ron Phillips.
I am Ron Phillips.
And I am Rocky Stucci.
I am the real Ron Phillips on Twitter.
I am Rocky Lothbrook.
You are not. You are Rocky Stucci. What are you on Twitter?
The real Rocky.
The real Rocky.
It's super unique. But people get all messed up because it's ROCCI and everybody's looking for CKY.
Oh, yeah. CKY.
And I ain't changing it.
I wouldn't change a damn thing.
Hell
dude.
no.
ROCCI. It's Rocky, ROCCI, Stucci, STUCCI. But why is it not Rocky Stucky or Rachi Stucci?
So Gambino.
Because my iPhone, when I say call Rocky Stucci,
Yeah, don't.
it replies and says,
You know, you can fix that.
now calling Roxy Stuxy.
You can fix that, you know.
I know.
But you don't.
I actually did put phonetics in.
So have you ever just said, hey, you know who? Call Roxy Stuxy?
Yeah.
And that's how you say it.
Oh, Roxy Stuxy.
See, I don't think that's funny.
I think it's funny as hell.
It kind of is.
Okay. All right. Back Gambino. What?
Oh, so Gambino explained to me the dialect because my dad actually knew what he was doing when he did it, but the rest of the world didn't. You know what I mean? and so you can say my name right and wrong both ways, front and back. So you can say Rocky Stucky, which is a popular one because they figure out the Rocky part.
Yeah.
But they get screwed up with the Stucci, so they think it's Rachi Stucci
Yeah.
because the double C
Yeah.
in Italian typically is a ch sound,
Yeah.
right? But he was explaining the difference when they use first names and the double C in first names, and this is why they do it. And then in the last names, the double C's are different. Don't even care. It's a good name, and people don't forget it.
You know what? In the world of social media, searching Rocky Stucci brings back you. Actually, there's probably one other one I think I found. Literally spelled the same way, but just you too. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you search Ron Phillips, and you're going to get 800 people.
Yeah.
You are unique.
Thank you.
I am not.
You are.
No, I'm not. I'm the real Ron Phillips, though.
The real Ron Phillips. The real Ron Phillips. Play stand
Real
up.
Ron Phillips. That's right. I'm real Ron.
Stand up.
Actually, there's a Ron Phillips that's a pastor. He's probably the real Ron Phillips, but
No, he's not.
he's much older than
No,
me.
he's not. So I am not going to, I just,
All right. All right.
this really quick, and then I'm going to bring something in here, but I want to go back to what I said really quick before we went out. These are the things that you have to be careful on when you get involved in the paranormal field is be solid in your faith no matter what you find, right? Stay solid in your faith because I wasn't. And you find yourself asking faith questions when it comes to going to sites where things happen, like this coal miner thing, right?
Yep.
The thing with Devin. You know, we're taught a certain thing in our faith and how things are supposed to work. You know, you're a bad person, you go to hell. If you're confused, you stay in purgatory. If you're a good son of a bitch, you go up into the light. You
Going
know
up.
what I'm saying? So you find yourself, it's just like, okay, well, if they're stuck in this cave, but they're good Christians, why? You know, you find yourself going to this weird thing. Don't do that. Just don't do it, you know, because you're going to put yourself in a weird place. And sometimes people don't recover from that. But anyways, Elon Musk.
Love him.
yeah.
I do. I mean, he's kind of a weird dude. He really is.
We are weird.
But I like Elon Musk. Not just because he's got money, right?
That's
he
why I
does.
like him.
I like Elon Musk because he is an adventurer. He's an explorer.
Dude, he's so rich, I would be his bitch.
And he will take his money and go, you know what? Technology in space. Ta-da! That's where I'm at.
So let me ask you this, though.
Yep.
You have Elon Musk.
Yep.
And then you have the other dude, Bezos.
Jeff, uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep.
So probably two of the most
Richard
financially-
Branson's kind of up there, too.
He's up there,
Yeah.
too. Now, there should be no regulations in space. I don't think any government or any human species should try to control space.
Correct. I'm with you.
I'm surprised there's not a tax yet with space debris or something.
Well, there is, actually.
Oh,
You heard.
Of course there is.
Well, it's not necessarily an attack, but you heard Russia tested one of their
Yes.
one of
And
their
it came through the
satellite missiles.
atmosphere.
No, one of their missiles to take out a satellite.
Space station.
It freaking exploded, that satellite. That's why our space station had to move the other day.
Yep, that's
They
right.
all had to vacate the station and go into the capsule, and because that thing blasted it into hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of small pieces right in the orbit.
And it was in the orbit because
Mm-hmm.
they hit it with a missile.
I think so, yeah.
So that missile did fly into space, kind of.
Correct.
Not all the way, right?
Correct.
But there are missiles that they have in space. Trust me, I know that.
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
No question. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
How you doing?
I'm sorry. What?
Don't worry about it.
Why
ain't
you
paying
slap me
attention
and
to
then
my
do this?
shit, because I was saying I know there's missiles in space.
I know there are. I know why you said it.
Okay.
All right.
Damn it.
Stop.
So here's my only weird little thing about these guys. Now I'm fascinated by Elon Musk.
Okay.
I really appreciated the fact that he smoked a doobie with Joe Rogan. I thought that was pretty badass. Because you're really going to get into the depths of the mind when you can get somebody to do a little hoocha. You know what I mean?
I
But-
think he's got Asperger's,
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
but he is a smart son of a bee.
The problem, though, is that you get the Bezos and you get the Musks and you get the Bransons. You know, these guys become so wealthy that name alone, the Bill Gates,
Yep.
they literally dictate things globally. They become almost godly in their own world. Because,
Elon Musk can mention the word Dogecoin in
Yeah.
a tweet and sends it through the roof. Didn't stay there, but he did.
right? Does that ever
And that
make
was
you
a
nervous?
that was a joke, huh?
Does that ever make you nervous? The amount of power one person can have. No, I'm not against them being financially, independently, self-made.
Correct. No,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not. No, I'm not against that either. Yeah, I mean, it's worrisome that people can do that. Sure,
Because it dictates everything.
it does dictate everything.
What do you think the world would be like without money?
I don't know.
Do you think it would be more civil?
Well, we'd have to barter with something.
Sex?
Chickens.
I'll be like, I'll give you 4 pumps for 2 of those chickens. And
Four
then
pumps.
4 pumps for 2 chickens.
What do you get out of 4 pumps?
2 chickens. What?
Nobody gets any satisfaction out of 4
It
pumps.
depends
dude.
who you are.
Or how
I've
long
seen
it's been.
videos and
Yeah,
documentaries.
I guess.
Okay, so what do we got going with Elon?
Yeah, so Elon Musk believes that the aliens may already be amongst us. We've got a short video we're all gonna watch together.
Together.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool about some of the things that he questions regarding aliens. Now, this guy's a space nut, you know it, but I find it kind of interesting. So watch this.
I wonder how many dead one-planet civilizations there are out there in the cosmos. Maybe they're among us. I don't know. Yes, it's funny. The universe appears to be 13.8 billion years old. Earth, like 4.5 billion years old. In another 500 million years or so, the sun will expand and probably evaporate the oceans and make life impossible on Earth. Which means that if it had taken consciousness 10% longer to evolve, it would never have evolved at all. But I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy, is where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us, I don't know.
Do you think we'll make contact with aliens within the next 50 years?
Well, that's a really tough one to say. So, what it suggests is there's this great question, it's called the Fermi Paradox. Like, where are the aliens? Like, if there are so many planets out there and the universe is almost 14 billion years old, why aren't the aliens everywhere? And this is one of the most perplexing questions. If there are super intelligent aliens out there, they're probably already observing us. That would seem quite likely, and we just are not smart enough to realize it. Any advanced alien civilization that was at all interested in populating the galaxy, even without exceeding the speed of light, even if you're only moving at, say, 10 or 20% of the speed of light, you could populate the entire galaxy in, let's say, 10 million years. Maybe 20 million years max. This is nothing, in the grand scheme of things. What are the important steps in the evolution of life? How do you decide that anything is important? I think the lens of history is a helpful guide here. Over time, things that are less important kind of fall away. What are the most important elements in the history of life itself? What would any intelligent species say, oh, those were really important items? Well, there's obviously single-celled life, multicellular life, plants and animals. The animals, things going out of the ocean onto land, advent of mammals, consciousness. There's about maybe 10 or so big ones on that list. And on that list will also fit the extension of life to multiple planets for the first time. Extending life to another planet is a huge quantum leap. You have to go hundreds of millions of miles across an extremely hostile environment to a planet which is completely unlike anything you've evolved to live on. And that's just really an extremely difficult problem. In fact, I think it's an impossible problem without the advent of consciousness. So consciousness is a necessary precursor for that. Consciousness, it's the next step, actually, because you really kind of need consciousness to design vehicles that can transport life over hundreds of millions of miles of irradiated space to an environment that they did not evolve to exist in. basically, if it took an extra 10% longer for conscious life to evolve on Earth, it wouldn't evolve at all, because it would have been incinerated by the sun. It appears that consciousness is a very rare and precious thing, and we should take whatever steps we can to preserve the light of consciousness. And the window has been open. Only now, after 4.5 billion years, is that window open. There's a long time to wait, and it might not stay open for long. I'm pretty optimistic by nature, but there's some chance that window will not be open for long. And I think we should become a multi-planet civilization while that window is open. And we should do it now. Thank you. Thank you.
And we should do it now.
That's pretty deep.
Did I not hear somewhere that somewhere around 2030 is when we're shooting to go to Mars as humans?
They are.
Are we going to the moon first? Is that what I understand?
I don't know, man. I think we should go there at least once.
Go where?
To the moon.
Oh, okay. At least once.
At least once. I just want to see a picture of the old original. Is there wind in space?
Wind?
Yeah.
No. There is on the planet.
It was something that has
On
an
planets
atmosphere.
with an atmosphere.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but there's not wind in space.
What causes the wind? The gravity?
The atmosphere itself, but
Because space is a vacuum, right?
space is a vacuum. Mm-hmm.
That would really suck to be working on the space station. You know, you're just out there wrenching some shit, fixing the satellite. And all of a sudden,
and the wind blow the tool out of your hand.
or your safety harness wasn't hooked up and you didn't know it, and you thought you'd be a smart ass and it's gonna be like, look, mom, and you just kept going. That would suck. Just float until you die. It'll take a few days. You're gonna be pooping in your suit, peeing in your suit.
I don't think it would take a few days. You'd run out of oxygen before then.
Good point.
But look, running out of oxygen, going to sleep, and dying in space, would that not be just a thrill? That's weird, isn't
Wait
it?
a minute.
That's weird.
Wait.
No, come
The
on,
hell
dude.
did you just say? Did you just say dying in space would be a thrill? Where would your ghost
yeah,
go?
actually, huh?
Where would your spirit go?
To heaven.
Oh, well, not the coal miners.
Oh my God, are we back on this? Okay,
I'm just saying.
I get that. No, look, nobody wants to die in space, I don't think. But if you had to, losing oxygen and just passing out or dying, going to sleep kind of thing, you know?
Dude, I remember, what was that
As long as
movie?
you don't have a tear in your suit.
That would suck too.
It would literally suck.
Because you'd freeze, right?
Yeah.
So what was that movie with Bruce Willis where they had to go up on the Comet or whatever and save the world?
I know what you're talking about.
I cried. I'm just going to
Did you really?
I freaking cried. Okay. That one part where, things were getting a little intense, people kind of losing their minds a little bit, and somebody had to stay back to detonate the
Correct. I
nuclear
remember
explosion.
that. Yeah.
And it was going to be Ben Affleck. And right at the last second, Bruce Willis did a switcheroo, you know what I mean? And kind of threw Ben Affleck back in the shape, shut the door and said, take care of my baby.
Very emotional, was it, Rocky?
Dude.
Very
yeah,
emotional.
Because you would do it.
Yeah.
If it was your child,
I would do it
you
in a
would do it.
heartbeat. Yeah.
And not me. I'll be like, yo, Rock, I'll tell mom you said hi. And you love her, bro. Good luck.
Nice.
Let me get some time out of here first before you pull the trigger. Is that a real possibility? Or is that just fear? We're floating around. There's going to be a time where something's going to come out of our asses.
Well, I don't understand the question. I don't get.
No, is like that big meteor thing, the big comet.
Yeah.
Comet.
We recently landed on one, right?
No.
Yeah, we did. We had no humans, but we had a lander actually land on one, take a sample, and take right off again.
Yeah, you know what the sample was? Diamonds.
No, I don't know that that's what it was.
Didn't
It
they
was
say they
probably just a
found
bunch of
something
pebbles.
so, obviously rare?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That could be a good business we should maybe talk about after the
Yeah,
show.
so it kind of segues into this one of the other two stories we've got left, which is Earth has a second moon
Yeah, it does.
for another 300 years at least. Never heard this before, but this is kind of intriguing. It's kind of funny how they wrote this article, though, because here's what they said. The fact is, there's another sort of kind of moon, in a sort of kind of orbit around the Earth that was discovered only in 2016. And according to a new study in Nature magazine, we may at last know how it was formed. So yeah, there's another object that is basically in orbit around the Earth. It says the quasi-moon named Kamo Alawaya. Yeah, there it is. Kamo Alawaya. After a Hawaiian word that refers to a moving celestial object, is not much to speak of, measuring only 164 feet across. However, it circles the Earth with a repeating corkscrew-like trajectory that brings it no closer than 40 to 100 times the 239-mile distance of our own familiar moon. Its odd flight path is caused by the competing gravitational pulls of the Earth and the Sun, which continually bend and torque the moonlet's motions, preventing it from achieving a more conventional orbit. They have basically figured out that it was bound to get attention because its composition posed a stubborn mystery. Asteroids tend to reflect brightly in certain infrared frequencies, but this moon just doesn't. It's dimmer somehow, clearly made of different stuff, which suggests a different origin. So this researcher named Sharkey, under the guidance of his PhD advisor, first turned to a NASA-run telescope in Hawaii, routinely used for studying Earth vicinity asteroids. But even through the usually reliable instrument, the infrared signature seemed too faint. So they went to the Arizona-run monocular telescope that can squeeze every last ounce of photons out of that object, it says. It produced better, clearer results, but they were still incomplete. It was made of common silicates like other asteroids, but they were common only in their general composition, not in their infrared signature, which remained stubbornly off. At last, the answer suggested itself. If this asteroid if this moon was behaving like sort of a quasi-moon, perhaps it was an artifact of the actual moon. And that's what they're suggesting, is that this was a piece of our moon that was pummeled by, other asteroids hitting the moon. A lot of them hit the backside of the moon, coming into not the atmosphere of the moon, but what am I talking about? You're not even listening to me. That's okay. So into the orbit. The orbit was the word I was looking for, and sometimes my Alzheimer's kicks in. Bear with me. It says, we see thousands of craters on the moon, so some of this lunar ejecta has to be sticking around in space. Apparently, at its current trajectory, it's not entirely stable. According to estimates from Sharkey and others, the object will remain an earthly companion for only about 300 more years, nothing at all on the cosmic clock. So it's kind of cool to know that there's another object out there that we can call a quasi-moon, but you'll never hear it. You'll never see it in the science books, nothing like that. So
have you
weird.
Ever heard anybody ever talk about
freaking orbit?
Two suns?
Think of that freaking orbit. Yes.
And
there's some TikToks that are going around where this guy's taking images and you can see.
How do you explain that?
I don't.
So some people believe it's Nibiru.
What is that?
Is it a planet or is it a comet, or I think it's a planet that can only be seen from Earth like once every so many hundred. I don't know. I'm not a Nibiru dude.
But is it that big? I mean, is it as big as what the sun is in our sky?
And sooner or later, the way that it rotates around our Earth, sooner or later it will. If you Google it, it'll come up. Nibiru, Niburu, Nibiru, something like that.
Nibiru.
And what would be so off, even if we did, man, if we had two suns, we'd be burning the hell up.
Mary Mansfield says Nibiru is sometimes known as Planet X.
That's right. Yeah. There you go. And I think, Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but Planet X is what they think is the second sun, right? When people there is video out there where there's a sun on the eastern and the sun on the western, or whatever it is, right? Pretty wild stuff, man. Pretty wild stuff. So, what would be so wrong if we had a couple suns,
Nothing. If it's not a planet and it's a star, I mean, because if it's a gas giant and it's burning us up, of course you don't want that to happen.
What do you think this planet would be like if we had no night? It was just daylight.
It would be
all
like
the
Alaska
time.
in the summer.
Oh, good one, Phillips.
Did anybody out there, any of our listeners, ever been to Alaska and seen the 6-month summer and 6-month winter, where it's 6 months of night, 6 months of day,
That would be weird.
where it's like 11 o'clock at night and it's still sun shining out? 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
No.
But then flip it. That's why the suicide rate's so high. Because when it goes dark, it stays dark for
It
6 damn
stays
months.
dark.
You got to go get daylights and put them everywhere.
Yeah.
And then put them on a timer.
Could you do it though?
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
do
I
it.
could probably do
Hell
it.
yeah, I
Just
could
to
do it.
say I've been there and done it.
I don't know.
You going to read this last story?
Which one
While
is
we
it?
got time.
Which one is it?
It's in the folder. I see you're busy over there.
Uh,
It's the one called Aliens Are Us.
aliens are us.
Aliens Are Us. You got to get in that folder first.
Dude, don't be yelling at me, Phillips. Let me see here. Yeah. Aliens are us. And I believe that. And I believe we're seated. And that's one thing about what Tesla? No.
Elon Musk.
Elon
Yeah.
Musk. He says, for one thing, we ain't smart enough. We may think we are. That's our problem on this planet is we already think we're smart enough and we learn shit the hard way because of that. I don't know. There's a lot of things we've talked about that stem back to not my seeding theory, but the seeding theory,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No, we're not smart enough. I mean, if you have a species that can literally float around space, who knows, maybe even interdimensional travel. But you got to have some pretty good brain cells or something in that thing that helps you calculate how you need to do that. And we think these little missiles we have on our planet and putting a couple missiles up in a satellite is going to be enough to deter something that can go into the ocean, out of the ocean without creating a splash, uses anti-gravity technology, can go 100 miles an hour and do a complete 360 spin or a 180 spin without even
Yep.
blinking an eye.
And it not affect the passengers of said
Maybe we're just all part of a farm.
an ant farm.
We're sea monkeys. That's what we are.
Being looked at from the
We're
outside.
sea monkeys. We got a big eyeball. The sun is just a big eyeball watching us and monitoring us. Maybe the sun is actually a UFO.
Well, look, our solar system resembles an atom, does it not? With a
It-
nucleus
100%.
and electrons. I mean,
Yep.
we could be the atom in somebody's tennis shoe. For
Well,
all
just
I
like
know.
a tree creates oxygen, and we need oxygen to survive, and we create CO2,
and they
and
need
trees
it.
need
Yeah.
CO2 to survive.
Yeah.
So it's a balance thing, right?
It's a balance. The whole world is a balance.
And so we talked about this before about other planets. We always have this perception that what we find on another livable planet would have to look like a human. But if you
That's
do,
not the case.
it's not necessarily, but kind of you can defend that in a way, because if you look at what it takes for what we know of the universe to survive, obviously anywhere where there's forms of life, there was either water or oxygen at these
At some
planets
point.
at some
Right.
point.
Right.
And where there is no water or oxygen, there's nothing. But it doesn't necessarily have to be as good looking as us, as us. But anyways, aliens are us. UFO are piloted by time traveling human distant
Descendants. Now, this is intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, if time travel is possible, and who was it that said that? There's a paragraph here. Let's see if I can find it. That refers to back in 1915 when Einstein published his theory of general relativity, and with the 10 field equations that went along with it, he laid out a way in which backward time travel may be possible. If these aliens that are coming to visit us are our descendants going back in time to visit to see how things are happening here, would that not be crazy? Would that not be, I mean, you might have a 25th times great grandson flying one of these UFOs checking in on.
That
You
would
see what
be
I'm
a
saying?
trip to meet
Would that
somebody
not be
from like
crazy?
1,000 years. Wait a minute though. If they travel back in time, so that means the future exists. We just can't figure out how to travel
How to
in the
get
future.
there? Yeah.
I would be really excited if some alien thing came to our planet and said that there is technology to travel back in time. I would want in 100%. Would you travel back in time if you knew you can come back?
Yes. Yeah, without a question.
What? Dude, you are negative.
What? I'm
you
negative.
would leave your family forever?
No, you said if I could come back.
If
that
you
was the.
couldn't come back.
Oh no, I didn't hear couldn't. I heard.
Maybe I said it wrong.
Could.
There is a possibility I could have said could come back.
Okay. If I couldn't come back, I don't know. I'd have to ask him first.
Yeah. Hey, baby, got a question for
I'd
you.
have to weigh it, and depending on where I was going, right?
Okay. And would you go back in time and you knew you could not come back, but you had to go back to save a current situation from destroying the earth? So you would actually have to manipulate history to generate a new reality today, but the smallest minute fluke could completely alter what you were trying to protect and save.
That's a big damn question,
Dude, I come up with shit, man.
Would you do it?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I probably would. I would think, but especially if it could save humanity, save the planet.
That changes everything.
That does change everything.
And maybe, see, it's not, what do they say? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. I say I'd love to go back to ancient Rome, or people want to say they'll go back and listen to Jesus preach. Yeah, well, you know what? You're used to your damn McDonald's, and your root beers and your cream sodas and your beer. Just so you know, the wine that they drank back then, their nasty ass feet stepped on it. Just so you know, and they didn't have no filtration system. So,
None.
shit, and you're sleeping on rocks, and hay. And you're sharing barns with horses. Hay.
Yeah, that.
Hey, folks, get to our website, abnormalrealities.com. Abnormalrealities.com. Do not forget our sponsor of the program, romikadesigns.com. It is the time of year. You are getting your ass kicked.
Getting it handed to me.
He was getting yelled at when I got here.
But order after order after order, and we are so grateful. Thank you so much.
Get on over there, romikadesigns.com, romikadesigns.com. Get to our website. We do have Abnormal Realities TV, ARTV. Get on, subscribe to the website, and we will let you know when we are doing private streams just for those on ARTV. Ron Phillips, take us home,
Tomorrow
baby.
night, guys, Freaky Friday edition. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hell, our last Freaky Friday was kind of a train wreck.
Yes, it was.
There may be pre-show edibles involved. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. See you guys tomorrow night.